Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
How are you all?
Fine,
Okay, sit down. Sit down, all of you. Sit down. How are you, Ma Sanjana? Good. Okay. So today we are going to start a new topic. Okay. What is that? The topic name is vector. What is the topic name? Vector. Okay, vector. So what is this vector actually? Now in a pen and paper, if you understand now what it is, now one vector will be represented like this. Okay. So one tail will be there, one head will be there, one arrow mark. Like one arrow mark will be represented in pen and paper, one vector. Okay. So exact meaning is what for vector? Now vector vector or vector quantity basically. A physical quantity can is said to be vector or vector quantity. Suppose vector quantity. Then what I will define here? Now a physical quantity which has magnitude and direction, and also what I can say, magnitude, direction and always vector algebra is called vector quantity. Okay. So let's understand this meaning. So one is what? Magnitude. Vector quantity is having magnitude and it is having direction, and always what? Vector algebra. Okay. So that means what? 1 plus 2 equal to what, ma? 3. This is scalar algebra. But in vector case, it won't happen like this. How it happens? Suppose one vector here and another magnitude of 2 vector here. If angle is 30 degree here, then its resultant will be some different. Okay. So that's why we are writing here vector algebra. It should obey. Now next magnitude will be there. Magnitude means basically what I can tell you. Now suppose I have here one vector. Where one I have vector. Now in this vector what is happening? It is basically one head is there, one tail is there, and what is the length of this vector? That is basically represents magnitude. What represents? Magnitude. And what will be the direction? Now direction will be from tail to head. Direction will be what? From tail to head. Direction will be from tail to head. So here this is the direction actually, the vector direction. And next I told whatever the vector algebra, it will depends on the angle. Vector addition will depends on angle. Normal addition it will not follow. Okay. So this vector you see looking like arrow mark, right? So if I represent here, how I will represent? I will represent like this. Clear? So here one will be tail, another will be head. Clear or not? Now this is a vector representation. This is the definition of a vector quantity. Okay. And here already you know what are the examples we can take for vector quantity. What are the examples? Examples are, tell me, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, next momentum, tell ma, very good, impulse, okay, area vector, very good, area vector, okay, like this many quantities are there which has magnitude, direction and always vector law of addition. Okay, if two vectors, suppose I will take here two vectors. Now what I will do? Now suppose this magnitude is 1, this magnitude is 2. Now if they are, suppose these two vectors are like this, then what I can do? I cannot tell its resultant is 1 plus 2, 3. I cannot say that. That resultant depends on what? Angle. Resultant depends on the angle. Okay, I cannot tell 1 plus 2, 3. So that vector algebra, you should understand that one. Okay, it will obey vector algebra. Okay. So what we'll see? Now vector algebra is like addition, subtraction according to vector. That and all we'll try to understand now. Now 1 minute. Here many quantities you wrote, right? There are is this only 4 to 5 quantities? No, right? There are many quantities in vector. Many quantities are there. Only some few we wrote. So let me write here. And another quantity tell. Electric field, magnetic field or electric field and etc. I wrote this much, but there are many quantities are there vector. Okay. Now let's understand what is this vector algebra. Okay. What is the vector properties? How many types of vector? How many types of vector. And vector direction also matters. I told vector direction always from what? Head to tail. Now you tell me where is the direction of this vector? Where is the direction of this vector? Where is the direction of this vector? Tail to head. But now if you see, if you from that side I'll see now here from this side, it is from left to right. What it is? Left to right. Now tell what is this direction of vector? Up direction. That means it is down to up. Down to up. Now tell me what is this vector direction? Up to down. Yes or no? So by seeing this tail and head, you can identify where is the vector direction. Yes or no? So that means I can tell, suppose I'll tell here O and here P. So what will be the direction? O to P. Vector direction is from O to P. So tail and head understanding is very important. Okay. So now in examples you understood displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, momentum, impulse, area, vector. Okay, are basically what? Vectors. It has magnitude, it has a direction, and also it will obey vector law of addition. Now next listen. So here a vector can be represented, already in classwork we have written vector equal to what basically? Now one will be magnitude and another is direction, magnitude and direction. Okay. Now here if I am writing a vector, okay, one vector symbol will be written like this one, a vector. Then what is the magnitude? Magnitude is a. What is the direction? Direction will be a cap. Now here this is the magnitude a cap is the direction. Let me write what is a. A is nothing but a vector mod, or it is called basically what? Magnitude of a vector. Now this is the a cap. What is a cap? A vector by a. So this is called what basically? Unit vector along what? Along a vector. Yes or no? So now a cap is a vector by a, and a is nothing but magnitude of a vector. I'll tell you what is this and all. So this up to this one we have completed or not? Completed, right? Now let's understand what is this unit vector. Okay. So there are many different types of vectors are there. If types of vector I'll tell, there are unit vectors, equal vectors, okay, parallel vectors, anti-parallel vectors, perpendicular vectors, orthogonal vectors, like that many vectors will be there types. That one we'll see. But first to understand unity means what? Unity means 1. Unity means what? 1. And this is a unit vector means its magnitude is 1. What it is magnitude? Magnitude 1. If any vector having magnitude 1, then what will tell that vector? That vector is a unit vector. Now tell everyone what is unit vector? What is unit vector? The vector which has magnitude 1 is called basically unit vector. Okay. Suppose I am telling P cap magnitude is 1. What vector it is? P cap? Unit vector. P cap is unit vector. Did you understand or not? Now suppose I am telling you one vector is there C cap. Its magnitude is 1 by 2. So can I say C cap is a unit vector? No, because magnitude is not equal to 1. If magnitude is not equal to 1, then it is not a unit vector. So about unit vector, the idea should be there. Unit vector is what? Now a vector which has magnitude 1. Now let's understand some unit vectors here. Suppose I will consider 1D. What I will consider? 1D. Now in 1D, let me take x-axis. What take? X-axis. Okay. Now in x-axis, this is your basically, or x-axis or x like line, basically you know that, right? This is your positive x-axis. This is your what? Positive x-axis. Now this is your negative x-axis. Okay. So now here this is your origin. This is your what? Origin O. Now this is your plus I cap. This is your plus I cap. This is your what? Minus I cap. Plus I cap. This is your minus I cap. Yes or no? Now here this plus I cap what represents? It represents basically positive x-axis. Suppose a vector is directed in the positive x direction. That means this is a vector, you know, right? This is your tail, this is your head. Now suppose this vector I am telling here. Tell me this vector is directed which direction? Positive x-axis. Positive x-axis represented basically what? Plus I cap. What represents? Plus I cap. Now here listen. Here this is your y-axis. This is your y-axis. This y-axis basically what? Now here it is positive y. This is the origin suppose. Now this is your positive y, positive y-axis, and this is plus j cap. This is your plus j cap. Now this is your what basically? Minus j cap. What is the minus j cap? This is a negative y-axis. Negative y-axis. Yes or no? Now if your vector is like this direction, so what I'll tell this one? This is in positive. Okay. So here suppose I'm telling here one vector is like this. One vector is like this. This A vector represented like this one. So I can write A into I cap. What I can write? A into I cap. What is I cap? Unity vector along positive x. Okay, what you can tell I cap basically? Just write here. I cap is what? Whatever I cap you wrote, I cap is basically unity vector along what? Along positive x-axis. Now minus I cap. What is minus I cap? Unity vector along negative x-axis. Okay. So these all are unity vectors I am telling, right? Unity vector means magnitude is what? 1. Magnitude is 1. Now suppose I will tell j cap vector. Now you all tell what is j cap? Very good. So I can write it is unity vector along positive y-axis. Similarly, can I tell what is minus j cap? What is minus j cap? You say. Very good. So you can write this one as unity vector along negative y-axis. Okay. So similarly, another axis also we have. What is that axis? Z-axis. Okay. So k cap will come. So about x-axis, y-axis, you understood the idea? Now tell me this vector is like this, downward direction. Okay. You have to tell in terms of j cap or I cap, whatever you know. And this vector magnitude is 5. Vector magnitude is what? 5. Suppose you understand vector magnitude given 5. Now tell me what is this vector, what I can write 5 I cap or 5 j cap or 5 minus 5 I cap or minus 5 j cap. What I'll write this vector? Minus 5. So when a vector you want to write, suppose x vector, suppose let this vector is x vector, then its magnitude I told 5 and this vector is pointing downward direction. So what will write here? Minus j cap. So this is coming minus j cap. Clear or not? Any doubt is there? No doubt. Now next another unit vector we have. So that is basically about z axis. So z axis you try to understand here. So let me write here x y z, right? Let me write here. Let me write this way z axis. Okay. So suppose I am telling this is positive z axis. This is positive z axis. This is your negative z axis. This is your negative z axis. Now tell me here, what is your k cap? What is your k cap? K cap will be unit vector z axis. So it will be unit vector along tell negative z axis. This is along negative g axis or z axis. This is what? Unit vector along positive z axis. Yes or no? Okay. Now this one I'll write as minus k cap. Clear idea? About 1D, no doubt. Now as we told, I cap, j cap, k cap, all are unit vectors. Then what will be its magnitude? What will be their magnitude? Still, magnitude will be 1. Magnitude will be 1. Okay. Similarly, suppose I'll tell minus I cap, minus j cap, minus k cap. What will be the magnitude? Magnitude will be equal to 1. Any doubt is there? No doubt, right? Okay. So now you want to write little about 1D, 2D, 3D. Okay. So let me complete this. 1D I completed, right? X axis, y axis. Individually you are seeing I cap, j cap, k cap. Suppose I am taking here 2D. 2D means 2 dimension. So 2D, in a 2D I am taking. Here suppose I have x axis together. Here what I have? y axis. Here what I have? X axis. Here what I have? Y axis. Now this is your origin O. This is your origin O. Now this point is A. Now here one vector is there. This vector suppose, or you take this one as a P. This you take A vector. What you take? A vector. This A vector can be written as what? A vector can be written as OA vector. Sorry, OP vector. OP vector. Yes or no? This A vector can be written as OP vector. OP vector. Okay, because O to P. Tail is O. Head is P. So OP vector. Now this vector, suppose I want to write. What I'll write? I cap or J cap or K cap? What I'll write? What I'll write? What I'll write? I cap comma K cap? I cap what I'll write? See here, when two dimensional we are telling, that time we have combined what? Two axes. We have combined two axes. This is your y axis and another is x axis. Yes or no? Y axis, x axis. So as y axis, x axis both you have combined, then this vector should be represented combination of I cap and j cap. Did you understand or not? Now see here. Now here, let me do one perpendicular here. Let me do one perpendicular here. Now this distance, let me take as ax. What? Ax. This distance let me take ay. Then a vector I can write as ax I cap, because this vector, see here. This one you will see in terms of vector. You see here, the dot 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 line. This is vector you write. This is dot 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 line. This is vector you write. Okay. This vector, if I will do like that, then ax is which direction? Okay. Okay, no worries. We have taken here, let me take here, this is y axis, this is what axis? X axis. Let me take this is x axis, y axis. Anything I can do, y axis, x axis I can change. Now see here ax, what I'll write? Ax I cap. Because why I cap? Because it is going in positive x axis. Positive x axis. Now this is y axis. Now this one I am taking ay magnitude. Now tell me what will write this one? Ay j cap or minus j cap? Ay j cap. So my a vector is represented as ax I cap and plus ay j cap. Why combination is there? Why combination is there? Because we have taken two axes, y axis and x axis. So vector is represented as ax I cap plus ay j cap. Now main thing it will come here. What is the magnitude? What is the magnitude of this vector? Okay. Now all of you know maths, right? Okay, ma'am also there. Okay, yes. Vector algebra.
We learn the same thing.
Okay.
Physics
So
and maths are interrelated.
So in maths what you studied, if I have a right angle triangle, if this is a hypotenuse, this is your perpendicular and this is your base. So what is your hypotenuse? Perpendicular square plus base square, root under will be there, right? Yes or no? Same way. See here, this a vector is hypotenuse. This is your base. This is your. Now you tell what is the magnitude. You tell. Root under x square plus ay square. Did you understand clearly? Okay. Now maths is over. Now come to physics. Okay. Now suppose you know velocity vector. Velocity vector equal to what? Now suppose I am writing like this: 2 cap plus 3j cap. One velocity vector is given 2 cap plus 3j cap. Then what is your velocity vector magnitude? What is the velocity vector magnitude? 2 square plus 3 square. Root under will be there. 2 square plus 3 square. Yes or no? So magnitude of velocity what you call? Speed. Magnitude of velocity, speed. Now one vector is given like this. One velocity vector is given like this, right? Now what they are asking? They are asking find the speed. So immediately you can tell 2 square plus 3 square root under 2 square plus 3 square. Clear or not? Yes. Now just now we studied maths, then immediately what it converted? Physics. Okay. So now one question you tell here. One question you tell. My v vector is 3 I cap plus 4 j cap. You should not calculate. In mind you do calculation and tell what is speed. What is speed? Very good. Good. Okay. So 3 square root under 3 square plus 4 square. So what will write? 5. So 5 meter per second. Did you understand now? So whenever a velocity vector given, can we find magnitude? Can we find magnitude? Okay, very good. So now what I'll write this one? What I'll write this one? Tell me everyone what I'll write. This is magnitude of a vector. What it is? Magnitude of a vector. Magnitude of a vector. Okay. Now next listen. Suppose I'll write here a cap. What I'll write? A cap. What is a cap? A cap is a vector by a vector mode. What it is? A vector by a vector mode. Now what is a vector? Everyone say. What is a vector? You say. What is a vector? Already a vector given. What it is? Ax I cap plus ay j cap divided by root of ax square plus ay square. No doubt. I am writing this much big expression, no doubt. Okay. So whenever I have given one vector like this and I am asking you find unity vector, find the unity vector along this vector, then what you have to do? Now vector by vector magnitude. Clear or not? So this one what will call now? What will call this one? Tell. Unity vector along a vector. Unit vector along a. Clear? No doubt. Now similarly, if you will go to 3 dimension, then what will write here? Now if you are I am going to now 3 dimension. Here x, y, z. Yes or no? Now 3D, in 3D. Now if you want to represent one vector, tell everyone how I'll represent. Ax, tell ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. Yes or no? Now if you want to find magnitude of this, say me what is the magnitude? Everyone tell. Don't worry, same way to tell. What is the magnitude here? Tell. Ax square plus ay square plus az square. Root will be there. Clear? Now if you want to find a cap, what are to find? A cap. Okay, Harsha you tell. What is a cap? A vector by a vector. Okay, Yogalakshmi tell. Anyone tell? Yogalakshmi you say. Tell. Ax I cap ay j cap plus az k cap divided by root under ax square plus ay square plus az square. Okay. So this is a vector. This is the magnitude of the vector. This is the unity of the vector. Okay. So if I am taking 3-dimensional x, y, z axis and I am representing a vector there, then I can write its vector magnitude and vector direction. These 3 things today you understood, right? What you understood? How to represent a vector in all coordinate system like 1D, 2D, 3D. Okay. Cartesian coordinate and its magnitude and its direction. Okay. Any doubt? No, right? So please note it down.